Have you ever wanted your wah pedal to sound like this? But instead, you got this. I think it's time to upgrade your wah pedal, bro. At this point, if you've been watching, you already know who I am. And today we are going to go over something that I kind of consider very special to me, at least. And that is the Jerry Cantrell wah pedal from Dunlop. Now, for those of you guys that are wondering, before we get into the video, this is a JC95. Now, I wanted the older version, not sure what it's called, but I'll go ahead and put a little picture or graphic somewhere on the screen here and let you guys know what that is. And that was kind of the bronze, kind of copper, rather, colored wah pedal. And I really, really wanted that for quite some time. The issue is most of us don't really mess with a wah pedal these days. If anything, if we have any type of wah effect, it's some type of auto effect that we set, and that's pretty much how we go and just see how that turns out. But for some reason, many years ago, when I was, I think in high school or right outside of high school, I bought myself a birthday gift, and I bought a wah pedal, also a crybaby of sort, and I bought it with a pretty hefty price tag without realizing kind of what I was getting. Now, for the longest time, and you'll see it shortly, I loved it. I don't know what it was, but I loved it. One of the reasons I got it, it's one of those kind of auto wahs where, in the sense that once you step on it, it engages immediately. Now, because I didn't really know what I was doing, I would have all the intensity settings all the way up. I'll show you in shortly, but there is a little button on the side. I think that acts as some kind of boost to the wah. And we'll play around with that just a little bit, you know, as we compare the two of these. But over time, it got old, it got just noisy, and I'm not the greatest when it comes to cleaning out electronics like this. So I was on the search for another wah, even though I don't really use it that much. But because I've wanted the Jerry Cantrell one, basically what happened is, if you guys are unfamiliar, the Gibson Icons video came out with Jerry Cantrell on it, and instantly I said, I've got to get me some Jerry gear. Now, when it comes to that, not so sold on newer Les Pauls. That still remains to be seen on whether or not their quality control and everything in between has been taken care of. The Friedman amps that are beautiful, beautiful amps are just way too expensive. They are way up there, way out of my price range when I typically use a Kemper amp, so there's no point in doing that. And so I looked, and there we go, his wah. And it's an iconic sound that is through him. So we take the Gibson Icons, oh my goodness. Jerry Cantrell's JC95 wah comes into place. Now, this thing is beautiful. It's not the copper that I wanted, like I said, but it is gorgeous. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So basically, we've got the Jerry Cantrell wah here and the old kind of crybaby that I had here. So very, very similar in size and shape. And man, I absolutely love this wah. There's so much fun you can have with this. So basically, I used it back in a band, the old one rather. I used it back in a band I used to be in just for little parts. I am a terrible lead guitar player and a somewhat subpar rhythm player, but I absolutely love gear. I love the guitar, so I'm not going to stop. So what do? Typically, you go through and you buy the most expensive thing you can get, or you buy a bunch of pedals and see if it makes you playing better. We all know none of this is true. However, in my head, it is true. So what I would do is, when it came time for any leads or anything that I had to play, I'd throw a shit ton of wah on it. and hope that that's what would solve the really terrible guitar playing sound. Now, again, the issues I had, the wah pedal just simply was too noisy, and it's just too much. So for the longest time, I didn't even have it on my pedal board. Until I built this one, you guys will be able to see it. I'll throw some B-roll in there for you. And it's missing a couple of the pedals. Some of those, if you guys haven't seen, I will link down in the description below. I have done quite a few different types of overdrives, a delay reverb from Horizon Devices. So I'll link those down for you guys to see, and you'll see some of the other pedals that typically would be on this pedal board. But the Jerry Cantrell wah, what it does is it makes that wah sound, that iconic wah sound that you want, you know, with Crybaby involved, and it has a little feature that I really, really like on it. So let's cut over to the pedals here. So basically on here, you have this little button here on the side that actually acts as your kind of intensity valve. The higher up it goes, the more intense that kind of wah effect is, and the lower down, it's not so intense. And it's right on the side where you could just dial your foot in and be able to just dial up, dial it back down. And it's one of the coolest features I've seen on one of these pedals. I think, and I could be wrong, let me know in the comments, I think Jerry's is the only one that does that. So something really cool there. And it just makes it to where I don't have to bend down. The one on the Crybaby, they're on the side here, kind of hard to see, and I'll do some B-roll of that. And they're just these tiny little knobs, and then we have this big red one here that's just, you know, kind of that boost that I was talking about. And it's just really, really hard to be able to kind of mess with that, especially if you're at a show. So if you think you got too much or not enough, you can dial it right in on the side there. The artwork on this is something out of this world. I've never seen anything like this on a pedal. And it's kind of this rubberized grip as you would typically find on these kind of Crybaby pedals. Yeah, let's just get into some tones. I know I talk a lot. For those of you guys who stick around, I'll put a little timestamp in if you want to just get straight to the tones. But thank you for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about how much I love wahs that I don't even really know how to use. But we're going to get into this. Now for this, I will be using my PRS CE24 in that Allison Chains tuning, as well as the Friedman Jerry Cantrell profile that you can find in the Get Good Drums amp pack on their website, GGD for short. It is really, really cool. There is a ton of amps in that thing. I think it's like 60 or 70 bucks. And in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. There is a lead and a rhythm for this amp. We're going to be playing around with both of those for the most part. And yeah, let's see what happens. All right, so now we're set up here with, again, my CE24 from PRS. Absolutely love this guitar. If you haven't checked it out yet, there will be a video in the description on this guitar. So we have the two pedals here. We've got the Jerry Cantrell wah as well as the Crybaby. Might have to shift that around so it can actually engage. But again, one of the things I liked about this Crybaby here is once you just hit it, it's automatically engaged. So we can kind of see here what that's like. So right now, just a standard tune. So it's not bad, you know, kind of looking at it, you know, it's there, but yeah, it's just not the Jerry Cantrell one. This was the original one that I had, and, you know, basically it was pretty good. And over time, you know, just, it kind of got noisy. Let's see how this sounds here. And one of the things I had a little bit of an issue with is once you disengage, there was kind of like a hiccup, like a. kind of go back down to that normal sounding wah. So let's go ahead and engage the little boost here. So a little bit of a top end kind of boost there, but that kind of whole back and forth, I can hear it clicking as I'm playing here. Now, of course, I don't have it very loud in the room here, so I can be able to talk and not have this heavy ass guitar drowning out the sound. But let's cut over to the Jerry Cantrell here. We're going to play with this knob just a little bit. Now, this will be all the way up. So not bad there. So you can kind of see it'll increase it a lot, and then let's go ahead and just bump it all the way down and see what we kind of get here. And then right off with none of that little hiccup and sound, it really doesn't cut into the next part of your tone, which I really like. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both. On the one that just automatically cuts on and off, you don't have to worry, did I hit it off? Did I turn it off? I can't tell. It sounds a little why, because you get really, really anxious like that, especially when you're playing live or you're recording, anything like that. And then on the other one, it's got the nice clean cutoff, so you can get right back into your original tone, the way it should sound. Let's go ahead and just for tone's sake, let's go between the two real quick and play around with some lead on. So these are all, again, stock in that GGD amp pack. This is exactly how they did it. I haven't really messed with any tempo stuff at all with the delay on there, but this is kind of what it is without any wah. All right. And again, that little bit of a cut there. Let's go to the Jerry. All right, so there you have it. That is the Jerry Cantrell wah. Sorry on the camera. I just noticed my big foot is going to be in the way of you kind of seeing that, but you'll get it side-by-side view there. I want to thank everybody who has shared these videos, commented on these videos, liked these videos, subscribed. I really, really, really appreciate it. It has been wonderful thus far. I'm not going to stop as much as I can. If there's anything that you guys want to see, let me know in the comments down below if I can get my hands on it. Now, understand that I've got the family, I've got everything involved. if I can get my hands on it and I can afford it or whatever, or if you simply have it and you want to see what my take is on it, feel free to send it. Just hit us in the inbox there. But other than that, this has been really, really fun kind of seeing the two differences. My other one's not too bad, but you know what? It's time to retire it. It's time to go with the JC95. It's such a beautiful pedal. It sounds great. And yeah, I absolutely love it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And other than that, have a great week. P.S. real quick, I just wanted to add in for you guys that if you haven't yet, check out on Facebook, the Backline. It is a little hard to find. I will put a link in the description below, but we do have a Facebook. We also have an Instagram. So, and by we, you guys are asking yourself, well, I've only watched gear reviews. We also have a podcast that we put out every week at Wednesday at 9 a.m. Correction, we put it out at 6 a.m. every Wednesday on all platforms, including YouTube. We do have video with it where we kind of talk about some of these new pieces of gear that's coming out that maybe I haven't been able to get my hands on yet, and go through what we think about everything, and then different stories. And we put a little bit of gaming and some personal life in there for you guys. So appreciate everything. Have a great week, guys.